Loss of wildlife, to me, represents a personal loss. And I have a lot of friends, and I know a lot of people who feel the same way. I'm a herpetologist here. I teach a herpetology class. Effects of the racetrack on the land would be that they would have to remove some of the forest. The forest ecosystem there is fragile, and removing trees actually affects the flow of water and from the forest into the stream there. And that can have a big impact on wildlife, especially aquatic wildlife that live in the stream. Invasive species, especially invasive species of plants, can often change the nature of the ecosystem to a great degree. Many of those invasive species do not support, they don't function as food for wildlife, and so our creatures, Pennsylvania native creatures, are not necessarily able to feed on it, and so they feed on native plants and reduce their numbers, and as individual plants are fed upon by herbivores and omnivores that eat plants, then oftentimes those empty spaces are filled by exotics, which again cannot be eaten, and so you lose a lot of your biodiversity, especially of native plants, when exotics move in. Bog turtles are interesting because they're unique to our area and they live in a specialized habitat. They're different from most of the other turtles. They're not a very widespread species, and so if we lost them, I think it would be a great loss to the biodiversity of the area. I was approached by a member of the Blue Mountain Preservation Association, and they asked if I would be interested in coming to a piece of private property to see if it had bog turtles. When I arrived, I saw that there was some potential bog turtle habitat, and so I thought, well, this might be worth coming back and looking at a time of year when we're most likely to see bog turtles. And the property that they invited me to was a property that was just adjacent to the Alpine Rose development site. It wasn't on the site. The site had already been checked for bog turtles, as they're required to do. And lo and behold, I returned to the site the following April. I went in and I found a bog turtle. And so I photographed it. I sent the information into the Fish and Boat Commission, as I'm required to do, and to the feds. They are also interested in any bog turtle sightings. The truth is that there were a lot of people in the audience, including people from the DEC and other groups in Pennsylvania. And they said, that I had made an important point about the water quality, the impact on the water quality of a high-quality cold water trout stream. And I think that's actually the thing that then was holding up the case. Rainwater is funneled in, it sits in the pool, and then it's gradually released into the stream, and that's supposed to help reduce impact of flooding from land where the forest has been cleared. Well, if you hold water in a pond, the water is sitting in the sun and it can warm up. And it turns out that the creek there that ran through the property is supposed to be a high-quality trout stream. And so if you release warm water into a high-quality trout stream that's a cold water stream, that's illegal. It's against the law. The forest on those rocky mountain slopes it's a fragile ecosystem. The presence of trees and a complete clothing of plants absorbs a lot of water. It prevents flooding in the streams. If you remove the trees for development, then you lose a lot of whatever soil is there. You lose the habitat, and it has a big impact on all of the aquatic ecosystems that are associated with it. So it's you'll see a serious loss of biodiversity as the area gets further and further developed, and so it will have a big impact, loss of forest especially.